Welcome to Business Objects Class 6, Charts and Graphs. I'm going to start by going into the design mode, and then I'm going to validate that I'm in design mode again by making sure that all my available objects are present. And this is where I picked off from the earlier class. So all I have to do here is add a report. And as I add a report, then I go up to my tables, and I'm going to use a cross table because that's the easiest to add data into. First, I'm going to start with the page name, and I could probably throw any data element I wanted to in here, but I'm just going to throw in obligations and commitments to start out with. So I move this down and sort to make sure that I'm just looking at the directorates that I worked out earlier. And then I'm going to format this cell so make sure I got room for all the data. So now, that's my initial chart. I'm going to start to add a few rows here. And by doing this, really just adding rows gives you a little bit of flexibility as you start to play with the data and line it up how you want it. So today I'm going to show you how to do a chart that tracks the current obligation rates with where you were planned and with the straight line. So as I do that, I start to pull in my spend plan variable. I'm also probably going to need my straight line variable, so I'm going to add another row in, pull in the straight line variable. So you can see, I'm going to go ahead and make sure those are formatted to percentage. So those are the two things I'm going to start working out with. So I can go ahead and get rid of these rows. And add one more row in here. And in this row, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to take this percentage, this current obligation percentage, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. And then all I have to do is put that in the formula and then hit enter, and it'll show up. Format that. Now I can get rid of these other rows here. And then I'm just going to, in here, just going to tell everybody what it is. So this is my current obligation percentage. This is my percent planned. And that's a percent straight line. So those are the three elements that we're going to graph out here today. To make sure I have room so everybody can see what that is. All I'm going to do is pretty simple. All I'm going to do is copy this and paste it, and then I'm going to turn this into a graph. So all I do is right click, turn into, and there's several different choices here, but right now I'm going to do a combination so that lines up all of our data elements pretty cleanly. We just want to make sure that our both two of our percentage that we're using, the straight line and the planned, are on separate axes, and I'm going to talk to you about that in a second here. So right now, all I need to do is make sure I right click. I'm going to get rid of these things so I don't need them. So I just right click on it and then make sure it's not visible. So right now, I'm left with my chart here. But what I want to do is I just want to make this a little bit clearer to read. So I'm going to get rid of these lines. So the way I do that is I'm going to right click that, I'm going to format chart, make sure I'm in global, and then make sure I'm in the palette. And this is where I can start manipulating stuff. So since I want to change my icons, all I do is unclick this, and then I can start adjusting the bars and the lines. So I'm going to take the lines down to 0, and what that does, that takes them both down. And here I'm going to adjust our objects. So the squares are a little bit, I know I'm going to make one solid and leave the other one single, so the X's or the squares are a little bit easier to format over, so I'm going to use those. So make sure I'm right-clicked, I have to make sure I'm right-clicked on it, and I know I'm right-clicked on it if it's the right color. So right now I'm going to take this to 7, change the color, so that gives me my straight line. So that's green, good to go, and that's my straight line. And this gives me a pretty good chart to show me with the green, the straight line, and the red is the planned. I think the two keys are making sure you start out with the column and line chart with two axes, so you have access to moving your data around to make it look a little bit better. And then the format chart area. That area is the primary area you go in and make sure you right click on your chart, go into the format chart area, and you can manipulate just about anything from there. So again, it's pretty simple. So that concludes our class. Again, thanks for listening.